know, Fridays, we always turn up and get a little excited. I'm Felicia Lawrence, and you're watching The Jam.
I'm Amy Rutledge. Thanks so much for joining us. It is going to be a good evening.
Yes, indeed, because it is Friday. The weekend is calling. How's it going, everybody? Brandon Pope here in for John Hanson. Got a good show coming up.
Yeah, so good to have you, B. Pope. We're going to start. Go ahead, Felicia.
Well, before we get to the next talker, I know you had an update for us. Go ahead, Amy.
Yeah, I want to let folks know there was a crash earlier, I-55 northbound, right before Weber Road. At one point, I-55 North was completely shut down. We just got news that they are now closing 3 lanes. Traffic is getting by in one direction, but we're looking at delays over 2 hours. So if you know anyone heading into the city, taking I-55, best to find another route because that is not going to clear anytime quickly. So please be aware.
Yeah, traffic definitely something to look
attention.
Yeah, go ahead, Felicia.
Clearly we have a delay here today, you guys, but it's okay because we're going to get through it. So we're also talking about the Crosstown Classic that is expected to happen this weekend. Both clubs kind of slumping and heading into the games this weekend. It's starting at Guaranteed Rate Field. The Sox also announced that Sox Fest will be canceled this year. But I'm just excited that we're still doing this Crosstown Classic because it gives you a little sense of normalcy right now.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 3 games this weekend going down. It's a classic battle, and it's just more exciting because you got both Chicago teams in the postseason. That rarely ever happens. Like, this is a really big deal. They could both go to the World Series. That'd be wild.
You know what? In Chicago's luck, that's what's going to happen, right? In the one time we get both the teams into the end of the season, and nobody can watch the games. Well, at least we can watch them on TV now, right?
Yeah, bringing the north side and the south side together. We'll all have to meet at State and Madison and hold hands in unity.
Oh, good call. Good call. I like that one. All right, guys. Former presidential candidate and Texas Congressman Ron Paul is doing okay now. The 85-year-old posted a picture and a message with a thumbs up. That was, however, after he scared the heck out of people after an apparent medical episode during a live stream on his YouTube channel today.
It has to be liquidated. We have to get rid of that. That's a burden. We can barely work this. We can't buy it.
Yeah, so things went south pretty quickly. His son, Republican Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, thanked everyone for their prayers and concerns. But right now, we want to bring in Dr. Fan Caprio, the medical director for the CSC and Telestroke program at Northwestern Memorial Hospital. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us because I'm curious, when you watched this video, it didn't appear to be any warning signs before things kind of took a nosedive. Is that typical?
It is, and that was a frightening video to see. And actually, we hear stories about strokes happening like that all the time, where 1 second somebody is perfectly fine, like he was speaking normally, and then the next second, the speech starts to slur and he was having trouble getting words out. And you'll also notice in the video that his face was starting to slur. So it's a very disconcerting video to have watched.
So after a stroke happens, how exactly is it treated and how important is it to do so immediately?
Yeah, every second counts after a stroke starts to occur. What basically happens is blood flow to a part of the brain becomes cut off either by a blockage of a blood vessel or a rupture bleeding into a blood vessel. And actually the only way to tell the difference between a clotting and a bleeding stroke is to get to the emergency room. So we tell our patients to remember the acronym FAST. That stands for face, arm, speech, and time. So if any of those 3 symptoms start to happen all of a sudden, these are warning signs of a stroke, and we encourage patients to go to the ER as soon as possible. And there are certain treatments, depending on what kind of stroke it is, to abort it at the source. And I'm hopeful that that's what happened with Congressman Paul.
Yeah, is there anything that we can check regularly to make sure that we're not at risk for something like this?
Yeah, that's a great question. Time is of the essence when you start to develop symptoms, but before any of that happens, it's important to make sure that you're keeping healthy. The big risk factors, of course, we want to keep under check are blood pressure, blood sugar. So if you're somebody with diabetes, making sure that your blood sugars are under good control, cholesterol, and then just staying fit in general, keep the heart and the blood vessels to the brain healthy.
I mean, if he
Certainly.
would have been alone, what could have potentially happened? Because, I mean, thankfully, people, the world saw this happen and knew that he needed medical attention immediately.
Yes. Yes, it's a problematic, especially in this time that we're experiencing. We're not having regular interactions as we normally would with family members and coworkers. So we encourage people to check in over the phone or, over Zoom potentially, or FaceTime to assess for any change in someone's function. But fortunately, some of these symptoms do resolve on their own, but some of these symptoms can be persistent as well. And that's always the worst case scenario if they go sort of unnoticed and persist for a long time.
Dr. Caprio, thank you so much for joining us. A lot of really good information there. We all need to be diligent in these times to be careful and keeping track of our loved ones. Thank you so much for joining us.
Definitely. Stay well.
Thanks. Stay well. Some other big news happening today that we're following. It appears that President Trump has made his pick to replace Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Sources say Judge Amy Coney Barrett is the one. Now, she's a judge for the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals in Chicago, but she actually lives in South Bend. She's the only potential nominee to have met with the president. Judge Barrett is 48 years old and a former clerk of the late Justice Antonin Scalia, and viewed as anti-abortion rights against Affordable Care Act as well. I think that it's clear he is being strategic in wanting to choose a woman.
Yeah, wanting to choose a woman. I will say she was a top contender when Brett Kavanaugh was actually appointed to the Supreme Court. Apparently, President Trump met with her one-on-one then. The meeting did not go as well as it did this time, and so he decided, obviously, to go with Brett Kavanaugh. There are a lot of concerns from folks, especially because she would be replacing Supreme Court Justice Ginsburg, is that you're talking about a woman who blazed trail for other women, and you're talking about a woman who has questionably tried to draw back some of those trailblazing moments. And so a lot of people are concerned about whether or not that's the direction they should be going in.
Yeah, she sided with President Trump on immigration, which is a very hot button issue around his presidency. I think it will be interesting to watch if she is appointed, how much conservatism she leans into, because what we've seen with Donald Trump's appointees and Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh is there was a lot of fear going in from the left about slanting too far to the right, and it turns out on a lot of these cases that have come up, they've actually gone against Trump a few times. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how she actually legislates inside as a justice if she does get to that point.
Yeah, certainly.
And President Donald Trump and Joe Biden actually are set to debate on Tuesday, but House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says there's no need for Joe Biden to even show up to the event. She told CBS this morning it's all because Trump and his allies do not stick to facts, in her opinion, and so why bother? She feels like it just legitimizes Donald Trump and his lies if Joe Biden actually shows up. It's interesting these comments come up. She's made similar comments before. They're coming up at the same time that Donald Trump is claiming, or at least failing to confirm whether he would actually allow a peaceful transfer of power if he loses the election. Not really what you'd expect in terms of civility from both sides coming here.
Yeah, I actually disagree with Nancy Pelosi on this one. But she has to remember that the average American doesn't follow politics as closely as she does. And it's no secret that she is not the biggest fan of President Trump. But I still think the American people deserve to hear both candidates. These are still people, whether you like one candidate more than the other or dislike them, these are still two people who are on the ballot to be the leader of our nation. We deserve to hear what they have to say.
I just wish there was a little red button that whenever the president is not being truthful, someone can push it, and then we can just move on, and then go back and fact check that, right? Make things a lot easier.
Yeah.
President Trump addressed
candidates,
Well, exactly. Yes, exactly. President Trump addressed Black America in Atlanta today, touting his $500 billion plan for Black America. Money for the $500,000 new Black-owned businesses to help create 3 million more jobs for Black people. Also, finally making lynching a hate crime and to prosecute KKK and Antifa as terrorist organizations. Many of us would say, well, what the heck? Ain't it about time?
Right. Okay. There's a lot to go, many different directions to go in this. First of all, I don't trust the president with this plan. He did mark every, or at least all the top issues that the Black community is talking about, issues that directly affect us right now. The thing is, he's had 4 years to already implement a lot of this here. And I don't trust that he will be able to implement this or even want to. I mean, I think this is going to fall by the wayside, just like his attempt at building a wall or his attempt to change healthcare. You had 4 years to already do this. Why should we believe and trust you now? And then lastly, I don't think, right, timing for the election, I don't think that he's trying to do this for Black voters. I specifically think that he's trying to do this to make white people, moderate whites, more comfortable for dealing with a president like this.
I will say quickly, I do think it does help with Black voters, though. I think he's going to get more Black voters this election than he did in 2016. People are not being vocal about what their choice is, but they are being vocal in what their choice is not. And so I would not be surprised at all if we see Black men show up a lot more for Donald Trump. Not big numbers. I'm not making a big prediction here, but it's going to be a bigger margin in 2016.
Brandon Pope. I'll take that bet with you on election night.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. All right, Deanna, what's up?
All right, guys, let's talk about what's coming up here after the break. A lot of updates on the Breonna Taylor case, including new body camera footage and her family calling for justice. First, so let's go ahead and look at tomorrow's forecast before we head to break. All right, everyone, I'm Diana Gutierrez with the news you need to know this evening. Right now, we're getting live updates from downtown Louisville, where Breonna Taylor's family is leading a march downtown. Now, earlier today, body camera footage was released on Twitter from one of the officers' lawyers. So Sergeant Jonathan Mattingly was allegedly shown carried away after being shot by Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker. Now, that's the officer that was not charged with anything. He was not indicted. And also, Taylor's family spoke today for the first time, requesting to get that grand jury transcripts to release so that we can see those. A lot of things happening, a lot of things to look after, guys.
Yeah, I want to set this up a little bit too because we actually had the wrong video rolling there. We seen the footage now, and it shows one of the officers, not one of the lead officers, but towards the back end, flanked to the right, going up the stairs of the apartment complex. The interaction, the shooting, faces are blurred out, and then they take the officer who was shot and they lead him out of the building. And it finally gives a little context to the whole situation and the stressfulness of the situation. So I'm curious to see if people's thoughts on the shooting and the grand jury will have changed after this video.
Yeah, but it still doesn't show us, exactly what happened inside during the situation. And I feel like the big problem with this case right now, a lack of transparency. I want to see the grand jury documents. I want to know what the makeup of the grand jury was and the diversity of it all. There's still a lot of things that are unresolved and unanswered when it comes to this case.
It doesn't feel like the transparency is there. I'm actually there with you, Brandon. I know they try to keep a lot of this evidence under lock and key because they want to make sure that they're giving them a most just process during the whole grand jury process, and they want to be fair and everything. So they try to protect it, and they want to hear from witnesses. However, I just hate that we're getting this footage 6 months later, and this is our first time seeing it like this, and it still doesn't give us enough detail. I'm curious to know what evidence was presented to the grand jury regarding Breonna Taylor's case. I wonder if they will be releasing those transcripts. I think that's the next thing that has to happen if they want people to believe in the justice system and to believe what's going on in Kentucky.
Yeah, that, and we need to see how the FBI investigation wraps up. Deanna, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Krista Green, over to you.
Hey guys, coming up on The Jam, we are chatting live with a former Chicago Bear who's planning to walk the entirety of Western Avenue tomorrow. And later, comedian Lonnie Love, she's going to be spilling some of her quarantine confessions, so get that hot tea ready. Stick with us, we'll be right back.
All right, welcome back. Well, he had a brief stint with the Bears, but Copeland Bryan's love for the city is still so strong. And that's why he's planning to walk the entirety of Western Avenue, which is a little over 24 miles long, to bring change to the city. So let's bring in Copeland Bryan to talk some more about this. Copeland, more than 24 miles, bruh, why?
Yeah. CEO Solomon got it in his head that the best way to show the city unity was to show the city how unified it actually is. Everybody likes to think of, South Side Chicago as a totally different city from Chicago, but it's not. This street crosses, 24 miles from the southernmost tip to the northernmost tip. It just makes the most sense to walk it and to highlight the businesses and the landmarks that really unify and bring the entire city of Chicago together.
100%. And there's also a gradual change too, as you keep walking. So as part of this walk to kind of highlight as well the inequality through the city?
No, obviously the the event itself is to kind of highlight Pursue Scholars, the nonprofit that I'm partnered with. It's their event, their thing that they came up with to, bring unity back to the city, but doing that and through its mentorship program, through its scholarship program for its Pursue Scholars. Every year they bring 60 kids in, they get them scholarshiped, they get them mentored all the way through their collegiate process, and want them to come back into the city to be the leaders that will, change Chicago for the better going forward.
And you had a brief stint with the Bears in 2006. What was it about the city of Chicago that really captured you and grew a passion with you?
Well, I'm a West Coast kid, grew up in the Bay Area and then went to school in Tucson. Big city living wasn't something I was really used to. And the first time out the gates, I'm in Chicago. It's a great city. I mean, the people, the food, the fans, everything. How could you not love a city like this, it being your first time living large and being an adult?
Were you able to handle those winters though? Like, that had to be a culture shock.
Like, I think the first 3 weeks, so I came a little bit later. The third week I was here, I went to bed. It was maybe like 65, not that bad. Woke up the next morning to go to practice, and there's like 7 inches of snow on the ground. I don't have a coat. I don't have gloves. Me and one of the other guys are trying to dig my car out the snow to be able to get to practice on time. Yeah, it's a bit much.
I bet. Well, hey, Copeland, congratulations. Great work you're doing here with Pursue Scholars. And I'm praying over your feet because I know it's going to be a long walk for sure. All right.
It's going to be a day. It's going to be a day.
It's going to be a day for sure. Hey, Copeland's going to be live streaming his walk. They have already raised over $75,000 of the $50,000 goal, but now they're going for $100,000. So you can see the information on your screen. PursueUnity.com is where you can donate. Thanks a lot, Copeland.
Perfect. Hey guys, sports in 2020 have been all about the bubble, and it's no different for professional players in suburban Rosemont. The group has hosted its own sports bubble with a twist.
I think it is huge for us because to have our season canceled was a huge hit for our sport at the professional level, and for us to be able to have the opportunity to play and to make money and to kind of get softball out there was huge. And I think now, especially with there not being, sports are kind of in a weird space right now, for us to kind of get seen and have that visibility, it was really important.
How do you create a league that isn't so focused on building up brand equity and followings and teams and cities around the world, but really focuses on highlighting the athletes, letting the athletes make decisions, and really putting them front and center? And so that's an idea we've been working on for 2 years, and we really started to formalize that. Athletes Unlimited came to be about 18 months ago, and then we announced it on March 3rd of this year. And obviously what happened later in March was obviously kind of changed a lot of things in the world, but we were very fortunate that the model we had put together was always to have a 5-week season in one city, and that's what we've ended up doing.
The entire layout of Athletes Unlimited is a little bit different in that it takes a cluster of players. In softball, it's a total of 56 players. They come into one market and they fall into that 1 to 56 ranking. Every week, the top 4 players, 1 through 4, are team captains, and they draft their own teams. That happens every Tuesday.
We have a multi-part compensation structure. The players receive a base compensation. They then receive bonuses based on actual inning and team wins. And then they also receive an end of season bonus based on where they end up in our leaderboard. So we have this very unique scoring system where you get points based on your team's performance and your individual performance. And at the end of the season, all 57 players are going to be ranked, and the top player will get the biggest financial bonus, and it will go down from there. And then finally, the players share in the long-term profits of the league. They get a share of the profits, and that share actually continues for 19 years into the future.
And so far, it's been not what you would think a bubble would be. Normally, people are like, "Oh, that stinks. You can't go anywhere. You can't go to the store, you can't go see your family," but the community we have here is awesome, and just getting to know each other here has been amazing and helps us kind of get through the whole bubble situation.
So the final games are this weekend. To find out where to watch them live, along with fantasy leaderboard stats, log on to auprosports.com. But it's so cool to see the ladies out there getting the shine they deserve too.
I love that it's like schoolyard picks. Like, you do good that week, you're one of the top athletes, you're a captain, let's go, boom, boom, boom. That's awesome.
Yeah, get some money out of it too. That's the key.
And look, the forethought that they had to keep this all in one city with a bunch of players in one place, like they created the bubble before the bubble existed, kind of.
Yeah, in a way. I mean, and they started this venture, as they said, at the beginning of March, and then had to pivot, which is the key word we've all been using. Okay,
Yes,
guys,
indeed.
stick around. Good evening, good evening. It is Friday. Friday, also known as Fry-yay, also known as Fry. Hey, I'm Felicia Lawrence, you guys. And you're watching The Jam.
I am Amy Rutledge. Thank you so much for joining us on this Friday evening. It is a great evening, too, so I'm glad you came to join us.
I didn't know there were so many ways to refer to Friday, so I'll have to take notes. Hey, everybody,
Friday
I'm
gets a little
Brandon
extra
Pope.
love.
It does. I'm Brandon Pope, guys, in for John Hanson. Hey, I wanted to give you guys an update on our friend Chance the Snapper, the Chicago legend. He's in Florida now, and he has grown. You may remember he was a tiny little thing when he was found in Humboldt Park. But now in his gator farm in Florida, he's about 5 feet long. And according to the gator catcher, Frank Robb, he's ruling his gator farm with an iron fist. The big dog on campus right now. Great to see him doing well. Because I remember being there when they pulled the gator out. And I was just like, that thing? That's what we did all this for? That small little thing?
What was that all about, right?
Yeah, totally. I can't believe we're still talking about this, but it's fun to laugh.
It is fun to laugh. You want to keep laughing? Well, we're going to keep laughing because she is a comedian, a host, an author, and now a narrator on the show Bridezilla's The Sassy Lonnie Love is joining us today. We're so excited to have you here. So much fun. And you've been doing the same thing we've been doing at home. How are you coping with the television world at home?
Oh, it's a damn mess. I don't care what anybody says. It's a mess. I have lights. I'm trying to change glasses. I don't know what to wear for Brandon. I'm like, Brandon's got glasses. Well, I'm going to wear glasses too.
There you go.
And
we'll make it work.
There we go. Get the, and it's about getting the backdrop, is about getting the right lighting. But this is what we need to do because we're entertainers and we're trying to entertain and inspire and inform. And so I'm just trying to do my best and just make it happen.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. We are big fans of yours. We got your book and everything. We've all started reading it. I'm on chapter 5. So congratulations on your book. And it's a beautiful book cover too, as well. Congratulations on that.
Great picture.
Where did that come from? I mean, the need to write a book. I know you have so much life advice and a lot of laughs in there too.
Well, you know what? People know me maybe from just The Real or maybe Chelsea lately. They maybe know me from my stand-up of 15 years on the road, but they don't know my true beginnings. They don't know that I was homeless at one point, that I was from Detroit, that I was raised during the crack era. So I think it's important, especially now in these times, to share our stories. And I ask that of everybody, especially people of color. We don't have more of our stories out there. This is a pandemic. In 100 years, people are going to want to know what people went through. So it's very important for everyone to start sharing their stories. This is mine. It's funny. It's inspirational. And it tells a lot. But I really wanted people to understand that if you come from where I came from and be an Emmy-winning talk show host, you can make it in life.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amen. Yeah. And definitely lots of laughs for sure. You tell a lot of stories from your childhood growing up and name a lot of people as well. I'm wondering if anybody hit you up after the book came out and was like, hey, wait a sec.
My mama asked for a check, Brandon. My mama was like, where's my check? Use all my recipes and all my series. I'm like, she was like, I'm the star of the book. What? I'm like, seriously, Mom? So, yeah, but no, everybody understood when it's your life story, there were a few names that were changed. There were a few situations that were changed, because when you're writing a book, you want it, because if you go one way, you have to keep talking about it. So some things were changed, but all in all, everybody was good, and me and Mom are still talking, so it's all right.
I loved about the book is, we may have all come from different backgrounds, but so much of your book is relatable. Like I was reading one of the chapters talking about wanting to buy the Gloria Vanderbilt jeans. You and I are not that far off in age. For me, it was Z Cavaricci's. I couldn't afford them either, and it was embarrassing to go to school. But so the stories are so relatable regardless of your background, and I don't want to diminish yours. Obviously, it was very tough, but I really enjoyed that about it.
But you know what, Amy? That's the thing. If I think sometimes we have these stereotypes and these feelings that, people of color, especially young Black women, we want the same things that the majority wants. Most of the times we're all growing up in this country, and we see Gloria Vanderbilt at that time, and it's like she had them jeans and it was just wonderful. And I'm like, well, I gotta get in those jeans,
Yes.
and at that time I could fit in them, and I saved. And that's why it's important to share those stories, because it shows that even though we're different cultures and different colors, we still have relatability somehow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally.
And I never got mine. I couldn't afford them. I never saved up the money, so.
I only got one pair, so don't worry.
All right, we have a fun game. If you would like to join us, you don't really have a choice. You're going to do it anyway, right?
Yes, I have no choice.
All right, we're going to hold up 10 fingers, and we want to find out if you have done something in quarantine, you drop a finger. And the first one to go out is the winner or the loser. Depends on how you look at it. We're going to be nice in the beginning. I
Right.
say that.
Let's say loser.
Good or bad.
Okay, while you were in quarantine, did you ever Google yourself?
Oh, yes.
I
You
don't
got to
need
make
more
sure the
hardship.
stuff is positive.
Yeah, I don't need any more hardship in my life. All right, did you travel out of state?
No.
Oh,
was too
I went to
scared.
Wisconsin. It's so close. Did you perhaps stay up all night in your PJs with a significant other?
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
I'll give you two
That's all
fingers for
night.
that.
Like technically all night or like a fake all night?
I can fake all night's fine. Y'all, I got 3 kids. I
know.
can't stay up all night. What's wrong with you people?
She said 2
Okay.
fingers, so it must be 2 people
I'm
at the same
single,
time
that's
or
the
something.
thing. Yeah. Oh yeah, because I stayed up the whole quarantine. I'm still up. I haven't slept since quarantine. So
Since quarantine started. All right. Have you gotten your drink on before 5 p.m., maybe even during work hours?
Girl, yeah.
yeah,
Come on.
who hasn't?
Well, that's true. Did you cancel any plans that you really wanted to go to originally just so you could stay home and watch TV in your PJs?
No, we
I like
all
you
have to
have to
get
think
out
about
of
it.
quarantine.
Lonnie's like, I don't know. I don't think I
Ain't
did
no
that.
plans to make.
No.
Ain't no plans to make.
You got some
Well,
long.
that's true.
Did you make these questions, Amy? These some
Nah, I got a
hard
producer who
ones.
did it. I got 3 kids. I don't do anything. Okay. Did you ever, during quarantine, spend an entire week ordering out every single meal?
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brandon,
Yeah.
you
Cooking
know
is
you
hard
did not
work.
cook every night.
Look at Brandon.
Yeah, I have to
Brandon.
admit, Uber Eats is so easy. It's so easy.
Yeah, it is.
It
All right,
is.
we're gonna let Lonnie off the hook for a second because I don't want to finish this game. I want to know more about Bridezillas before we let you go.
Oh yes, Bridezillas is the first. It's season 13 of Bridezillas. I am the first narrator for the whole seasons. They've always used like the creator as a narrator, but now because it's going to be on WeTV, it premiered last night. We had a great time. It's 22 wonderful women. They are crazy, they're dramatic, but they want this to be a big day for them. And it's an over-the-top weddings. We have LGBT, we have mothers that may come to the wedding, fathers that may not come to the wedding, but it's just something that a project that I was happy that I was able to get because it paid me, because during quarantine, all of my shows got canceled. So I want to thank
Right.
and I want to thank everybody because it was work. And I did it in my closet during quarantine. So thank you, WeTV. Watch it Thursday nights on We. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Before we let you go, we have a thing that we do here at the Jam every night when we shut down our show. We make
Y'all
a
got a
pose.
lot of things y'all do on this show.
I know. You got it.
They keep
So give us a
asking
good
me to do
pose.
stuff.
She's like, I don't have to work. All right. So before we let
Okay,
you go,
what
give
is
us a
it?
good pose.
A pause.
So we do a pose.
A pose.
Yeah, a pose like in a photo booth. Like we're in a photo
just
booth.
strike a little
So
pose.
give
Strike
us
a
your
little pose.
personality. Okay. 3, 2. Okay, hopefully they got it.
I think they got it. I hope so.
Look at Lonnie. Oh
you
man,
are
Lonnie,
awesome.
listen. We are a huge fan. We appreciate you for walking in your light. You keep shining bright. We need you. We need your voice, and you matter. Thank you so much.
And the book is amazing.
That's a
Yes,
wonderful
yes.
show. When they told me about Jam, I said, finally, they asked me to come on. So thank you. I love it. I love Jam. Whenever I'm in
Hey.
Chicago, I mean, this is Chicago, right? Y'all ain't in
This is
Pittsburgh.
Chicago.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
Chicago. You got the right one.
Yeah. Hey, come on back. You're welcome back.
Definitely. And y'all, if you're ever in LA, whenever we get out of this, come on see us at the Real.
Thanks so much,
We
Lonnie.
would be elated. You can keep up with all of Lonnie's projects on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and be sure to check her out on Bridezilla's Thursday at 9 p.m. on WeTV.
Gotta love her. She's just brings you life talking to her. All right, guys, today on the Drew Barrymore Show, Drew had another major reunion, this one with her ex-husband, Tom Green. Ooh.
This
Let's
is
hear the clip on
really,
this.
I was so happy when you invited me on the show. It's been too long. We should have, it's nice to reconnect. We really did not talk for about 15 years, I guess. And this is really the first time we've looked at each other face to face in 15 years.
And, one of the things that means so much to me professionally also is because one of the reasons that, we got to know each other in the first place was I admired your work so much. And so I reached out to you and, asked you to come and do Charlie's Angels, and you so graciously said yes.
But that was so exciting, getting to do that movie with you, and, we kind of sort of hit it off right away, pretty much.
Yeah.
We had a lot of laughs together. I think one of our first dates, I think we went and bought lobsters, because we both love animals.
Yeah.
And we both got lobsters.
Yeah.
And we released them into the ocean.
Yeah.
That was what we decided to do.
It raises a lot of questions about reuniting with exes. You can catch the Drew Barrymore Show weekdays at 5 p.m. Deanna, over to you.
Continues to make history while Florida is reopening to the public, pandemic or not. First, however, here's a look at tomorrow's forecast as we head to bed. I'm Diana Gutierrez with the news you need to know this evening. Rittenhouse's lawyers will fight extradition. Now, right now, the legal arguments are not made public yet, so we don't really know how his lawyers plan on attacking this. But many lawyers have already given their opinion. They say this could be an uphill battle. You'll remember the 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse was charged with allegedly killing 2, injuring another during the Kenosha protests. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg continues to make history. She will be the first woman and Jewish American to lie in state at the U.S. Capitol. Congress gave her a very special ceremony. We had House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer giving their condolences and giving their remarks today as well. And her personal trainer actually honored her in a very special way. He did a couple push-ups there to honor her. She always loved working out, always loved being active. And now switching gears here, talking about coronavirus, the U.S. has hit over 7 million cases, and 23 states are actually reporting that their cases are also going up. And in Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis removes all restrictions, right? So really no capacity restrictions on restaurants and bars, although we have new numbers of about 14,000 Florida residents having the virus. So this is also a conversation of like, what is going on? Although we're trying to get back to normalcy, I don't know. What do you guys think?
God, this is insane. Are you kidding me? We were all talking about like trying to get our kids back in school in the next couple of weeks because this was like kind of a deadline a lot of the schools imposed. And now we've got states going back to normal right when we're getting the flu season too. What the heck?
Yeah, it's a mess. I'm just like, does Florida have a vaccine we don't know about? Like, am I lost here? Because this makes zero sense. Indiana also going to their phase 5 of going back to normalcy. So it just I don't get it. COVID's not over because you want it to be over. It's not over. We still got to social distance and do our thing.
Yeah, this looks good if you are in terms of business, in terms of having your American freedoms. This looks good. And I can see it from a political standpoint, how you would want to do this right before, a Florida election and everything. But it doesn't seem safe. I definitely think politics is involved with this decision. And I 100% think that it's a mistake. I mean, to be in a restaurant with a bunch of people and no mask, I can't imagine.
Yeah, I do want to say there is just really quickly one thing that the governor did say. He said restaurants could oppose to just keep 50% capacity if they could justify it. So,
yeah, well, we're gonna see what's happening in another 2 weeks when they shut it all down again, right? It's gonna happen,
right?
Let's be honest. All right, guys. Well, the election is in 39 days. If you need help registering to vote or to check and see if you are registered to vote right now, head over to cw26.com/vote. Follow the instructions to get your voice heard, and we will be right back.
All right, there are many unsung heroes of the pandemic, and I've got one that might not come to mind at first: dairy farmers. So I'm catching up with host Amy Brown all about her new web series, Where Goodness Grows.
Some people may not know that Land O'Lakes is a farmer-owned co-op. So really my hope after people watch Where Goodness Grows is that when they go to the grocery store, they will remember an episode and think of the family, the kids, put the Land O'Lakes in their cart and feel more of a connection and a sense of community and amazing work ethic, which all of these farmers have.
So I'm curious, how did you end up becoming the host of a show that's all about farmers?
I'm on the Bobby Bones Show, co-hosting that every weekday morning. Then I have my own podcast, and I started to get feedback from some of my listeners. They were asking me to book farmers as guests. So when this opportunity presented itself with Land O'Lakes, I thought, well, this is the perfect opportunity for me to do what my listeners have been asking me to do, and in a really, really cool way.
What are some of the most surprising things you've learned making the series?
I love that they have the family feel, the traditions, the sense of community that I think some of us have lost, but hopefully this will bring people back to craving that.
And if you're getting families involved, it's gotta be fun. What are some of the best parts about meeting these families?
One of my favorite things is that we got family recipes from some of these farmers that go back generations that are really special. And food is my love language, so I was all about that.
And how can we help out from home?
So go to facebook.com/Land O'Lakes to check out the episodes. And for every comment or share, Land O'Lakes is going to donate a pound of macaroni and cheese to Feeding America's food bank. So next time you pick up a Land O'Lakes product or butter and throw it into your cart, you'll think back to one of these episodes and have a face to go with the butter, because there's people behind the product and a family and people that are working hard to make sure that we can get the food that we love and enjoy.
Y'all know I love a good digital series. You can check out new episodes and new recipes on Facebook at Land O'Lakes. And here's a look at your weekend forecast as we head to break. The Jam will be right back, y'all.
All right. It's a part of the show where we go deep on a topic or we dish about ourselves. That's right. We're talking about Deep Dish.
Deep Dish. Okay. Story that speaks to my heart. So you guys know I like to exercise. So there's a new study out that shows that moderate exercise for 20 minutes a day elevates your mood for up to 12 hours. Okay, so that's daily. But a new Harvard study is showing that it can also increase your lifespan by up to 14 years. Here's the really cool part of what the study also found. There's evidence that if you exercise anywhere from 2 minutes to an hour a day, it can improve your attention, your concentration, your learning for up to 4 hours. So Felicia, all you gotta do is jump on your bike for 2 minutes and you can get smarter.
Are you saying that I need more smarts to get?
I'm just giving you motivation, girl. Just motivation.
Yeah, 100%. I have been working out more regularly lately, and I can see some benefits to it. But sometimes just in this pandemic, it takes you a little bit just to muster up all the energy and the gusto to get it going, you know?
Oh, totally.
Well, I'm 100% on board with this. It's always been my mantra. When I was working early mornings in my last market at South Bend, I'd actually work out before I went to work at 3 o'clock in the morning because it did improve my mood, my performance, my energy. It just jazzed me up for the day, right? And, you know, I just think it just naturally does that for you. It's like drinking a good cup of coffee, but better for you.
Get the blood
you know?
pumping. Yeah. I literally, like, before we sit down to do our equipment test right before the show, I run up down the stairs twice. Because I'm like, all right, because at 6 o'clock at night, you start to get a little, like, you know, if you're like me, I get up early, I get a little logy at the end of the day. So I got to wake it back up.
That's a good idea. Also, Amy, though, your day starts so early. Let's talk about that. Research says that you're most productive waking up at 5 a.m. That's what a lot of celebrities say, right? But an expert with the BBC actually says it's not for everyone. Should be accustomed to your natural biorhythms, and it also depends on your sleep schedule. You know, how late you go to bed the night before. So it's not for everyone, Amy. We know you get up at 5 a.m. You don't have to keep throwing it in our face.
By the way, I get up at 3:45, not 5. Nice try, though. But here's what it is, and I totally get the study, and I totally agree with it. It's not about the start time. It's about the regularity of it, right? Like, even on the weekends, I don't sleep later than like 5 o'clock because you need to keep your circadian rhythms in place. And to do that, you got to get your body on a schedule. So I totally get that study. If you're a person who stays up late, sleep in later.
That's interesting. You know,
Brandon has nothing to say. He's still stuck on the 3:45 a.m. part. Jeez Louise, why?
Yeah, why even do that? You know, I think my thing is I've always been bad about sleep. People know me as a night owl or a person that stays up later than they ever need to. Even when I was working a morning schedule, supposed to be in bed at 7, I don't go to bed till 10 or 11. And then you got to go into work at 3 or 4. And I just catch up on the weekend. That catches up with you, though, eventually. It's not good for you.
No, it's slowly killing yourself. I mean, your sleep is super important. That's when your body does all its reparative needs. You have to get sleep. Now,
but just one more episode, Amy. One more episode. Gotta get
That's why you guys are like, have you watched this show? And I'm like, no, I gotta go to bed.
Yeah, right. I need my beauty sleep, though, Amy. And you're bragging. We just think you're weird, not cool. Oh,
no, I'm not cool. I'm weird. I don't care. It's fine.
That's sweet. Keep the compliments coming.
Get more sleep, Brandon. You're almost there.
Have a great weekend, guys.